We at Kris Lopez Boxing Gym. Y'all hit that like button. All right, y'all, this is Big Rich from Real Boxing Facts in the Boxing Corner. We got Kris Lopez in the building. I want to ask you a couple questions about the regulations that boxing don't have. You know what I'm saying? It's like an unregulated sport in boxing, and it's like, would you think it'd be a better sport if Congress made some laws that benefited the fighter and sometimes the trainer? Because the trainer is not getting, like the trainer, like if a fighter ends up leaving the trainer at some point, right? Then the trainer don't, have anything. I mean, nothing he can do.
No recourse.
No recourse.
The thing about boxing is, though, see, if you start regulating it and you start having these corporations involved, these governing bodies, then you're also going to have a certain level of athlete that will be acceptable to be in this sport. See, you in the NFL, Major League Baseball, those guys are all weeded out from high school and college, and they have to be good enough. They have to be elite to be in the NFL. Boxing is still one of the last sports where any Joe Schmo, a Rocky, so to speak, can take a chance and try to make something of himself against all odds and step into the pro ranks and shock the world. The chances of it happening are nil in between, but few and far between. But you still have that element in boxing where a guy like me can say, you know what, I want to be a trainer. I used to fight. I'm gonna train my kid, and there's not a lot of red tape holding you back, like in the NFL or Major League Baseball. Like it's definitely easier to take a chance in professional boxing and see if you got it or not. Whereas like in the NFL, like dude, the worst NFL player is a millionaire.
Right. Okay,
So
but
you don't have that in boxing.
that's true. But in boxing also, you have fighters who sometimes don't fight for a year, or maybe 2 years.
Yep.
And in between that time, you know how it is when you ain't got no paychecks coming in. You know what I mean? Like, for example, restaurants, they have what is called the, I guess the food minimum wage. And that's for waiters, I guess.
Yeah.
They make like $2 an hour.
Yeah.
And then whatever tips they get or whatever. Do you think something like that would benefit some of these fighters who are, some of them are very, very good, but don't get the opportunity because just how good they are.
Because they're too good.
Yeah, they're too
or
good.
They lack something that the promoters aren't looking at. Of course. I mean, boxing does need to have a governing body, some type of structure, some type of leadership that, warrants fighters making a minimum wage. It does need to be changed in some kind of way, in my opinion. But like I said, that would take away from the lure of that sport being the last remaining sport that anybody can give a shot at. Like let's face it, if you're 25 years old and you haven't played football since Pop Warner, you're not going to make it to the NFL. You ain't going to walk on and just get in the NFL. Boxing's one of those sports that if, like, let's say you was raw at sports when you was in high school and you had an epiphany to fight and you really took on and you got good at it, you could mess around and make some noise. You could at least become a local fan favorite, like a club fighter. I have a fighter like that right now, Luis Garcia. He's not the most talented fighter, but he carried boxing in the Bay Area in the mid 2010s. Like from 2010 till like 2017, he was the main event attraction in the Bay Area under Mike Bazan. And he ain't going to be able to do that in football or baseball. A kid like him is not going to be allotted that opportunity and become like a local superstar. he was the main event.
Right.
I mean, he's living a dream. He still fights. I mean, he was supposed to fight Holyfield. Holyfield's son. The Holyfield's son got some type of stomach. No, he got a stomach injury.
Okay.
Like he got a stomach injury, and it didn't happen. So, I mean, he's still waiting on a big fight. He's still around. And like, yeah, he's 36 years old, and he's able to still be around, and be thinking about getting paid and getting a big fight. Right? You can't do that in no other sports. Yeah. When it's over, it's over.
Yeah, that is true.
So
that
boxing is it's
therapeutic at its core.
Like human, the finest and worst of humans.
Another thing that's tied to what we're talking about that's been unregulated is how they basically how they do the matches. You know what I'm saying? How they judge these matches. You know, and I know that's been the same for at least 70 years. And now that we have new technology, you know what I'm saying, social media, new technology, we have other ways where we can actually tell who won that fight.
Right.
Because it's always in question, you know what I mean, depending on who the fighter is and depending on who holds the belt.
I'm going to make another analogy, though. It seems like this is the way humanity is geared up in this day and age. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl champ. Minnesota goes downfield.
Right.
There's a flag thrown. The referees come together. This is Patrick Mahomes, man. The flag gets picked up. There were like 5 fouls on that play that were all against the Chiefs.
I saw that. I saw that. Right.
And so it got picked up, and Mahomes wins. So, you know, the worst travesty that ever happened in boxing, in my opinion, was it was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and that kid from Texas. Damn it! Why am I having a brain fart? I think his name was something Vera. Brian Vera was his name, I believe. He destroyed Chavez from pillar to post, round 1 to 12, and they gave it to Chavez. You know, and so I mean, we see robberies all the time, close fights. You know, that's one thing, but like highway robbery, where you're just like, well, my God.
But you know, the days that we live now, we have technology where we can actually not eliminate it, but we can get rid of a lot of it.
Well, they definitely should try to get the fights right that where there's not millions of dollars involved. You know, like I get it. A promoter puts his $1 million horse out there to fight another million, or not $1 million,
$1,000 horse.
And the $1,000 horse
knocks him out,
beats him,
or hit him with a body shot,
right,
and knocks him out,
right.
And then they say it was a low blow.
Yeah, it's called a low blow. That's a good one. That was a real good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
No names.
Right, we ain't gonna say no names. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, that's what happens when you got an investment. See, and that's all this is. It's an investment, and the judges. Who do you think pays them? You know what I mean?
Right.
Who pays for the show to be put on? So if you got judges and officials going against the person paying for them to make a living,
right,
we don't have no more living. They ain't gonna do it no more.
Right.
So everybody's got to follow the script, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a script.
You know, a lot of times though we get good fights, and you know, Ray Leonard versus Hagler. I mean, it wasn't so much a robbery when you watch it 100 times. You know, Leonard.
He did his thing.
I thought he pulled it out. And at first I gave it to Hagler for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me otherwise. But now that I've matured in boxing and I can see what Leonard did, I can appreciate it.
Well, what I could see, this is what I could see. It's two things when we talk about that fight.
Yeah.
It's fights that didn't happen at that time. You're talking about...
that fight. It happened so late.
Yeah, it happened so late. Yeah. And then you had other fighters, you know what I'm saying, who was calling them out. The Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Who actually went to the press conference and called him out.
Yeah.
And that fight didn't happen because of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he wasn't on that level. You know what I'm saying? But so when he did finally call old boy out, and then when that happened, you can kind of understand that it sugared Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like Tom Brady in football.
It's like Tom Brady.
You gotta protect him at all costs.
Yeah, that 2002 thing
Jordan.
with the fumble.
Yeah, I was at the Warriors game. I watched that on the Tritantron.
Right.
Michael Jordan. Like, come on, man. Jordan was allowed to travel. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. I got one more question about your son. Now I know you can't announce his next fight.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But do your son want to do what Lomachenko did when he first started boxing in pros? I mean, for the money, of course.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a big paycheck out there, you know, for your son, and because I'm pretty sure your son is like, he's got those heavy hands, you know what I'm saying? He has a good chance of knocking out one of these guys, you know what I'm saying, that's famous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right famous guy.
Right famous guy.
Right
So
famous
Lomachenko
guy, yeah.
wanted to fight for a championship when he first started the pros.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would your son take a fight like that?
Not right now. Not right now. Only because of one thing. Like I spoke about it earlier. We want to give him all the same advantages that all the other fighters have. So as far as like his man strength, I definitely remember being 19 and being 22. And really that's just the last thing on my list before I cut him loose on everybody. You know, is that we're gonna match him properly.
So let me ask you another question then. So I know he's been in there with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now we ain't gonna mention no names or whatever. But how did he fare against most of those people that he was in there with? Can't say no. I mean, I ain't gonna say no names. You know what I mean? I don't want to put nobody.
World-class fighters, you know, top professional fighters with great records. He handled his business, you know, and that's that. I'll tell you, I'll put it to you like this. Someone as high profile as my son would have footage of him getting his ass whooped. There'd be somebody out here talking about how they whooped his ass.
Yes.
And you don't, just like with me when I was a fighter, you don't have nobody saying that because it
Right.
didn't happen. Ain't nobody whooped me when I was fighting.
So kind of like when Floyd was talking about Sweet Pea, he actually didn't tell you he whooped Sweet Pea when they sparred, but he kind of like said that he got the best of him.
Right. You know, there's no footage out there, and there's nobody that can say they whooped Dave, ever. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, he's had some hard sparring where it was back and forth, but there has not been a single person other than Aaron Coley when Dave was like 15 who thoroughly dominated him. And you know, Aaron is like, I could say Aaron used to big uncle.
Well, Aaron is a right-hander, but he fought left-handed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tricky fighter, you know, to fight because he was good at either hand. Yeah. Anyway, get the people where they can, you know, come to. I think all the youngsters should come to this gym.
Well, I want you to interview a couple of these kids right quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Let them talk. So,
let's get some of these kids in here.
Yeah. Come on, Tommy. And
weight y'all fight at?
I fought at 85. He don't fight yet, but I think he's going to fight. I'm 65.
And do you have any amateur fights?
Yeah.
How many you got?
Around, I think 43.
43. You got how many?
I think 43.
You got 43 fights?
I started him when he was 3 years old.
Oh,
I
God.
started him when he was 3. He won the National Silver Gloves, the advancing tournament. What other nationals did you win? Did you win any other nationals? He came in second in like the USA Boxing Nationals.
So for some reason, like every time I go to a national, I get like second place.
So he was technically ranked the number 2. Not technically, but he was ranked number 2 in the entire country.
Well, what do you like about boxing? I mean, what motivates you about boxing? Who's your favorite fighter?
My first favorite fighter was Mike Tyson. Second one was. I really don't even got no other favorite. No.
Well, wait a minute. You got one right here in this gym.
Crawford.
David Lopez. Crawford. Okay.
Dave.
What about you?
My favorite boxer is Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson.
Okay. All right.
Dave.
I love that.
Smart
Well,
kid.
hey, well, you know they're turning pro at very young ages. You know what I'm saying? Are you talking about going pro at a young age? Any one of y'all?
Well, it depends
Depends on what.
how life goes.
Oh,
Smart kid.
that's a smart answer right there. That's real talk. Hey, I know y'all got IGs or social media networks. How can they get a hold of y'all?
Huh?
Y'all got social media?
Yeah, my phone broke down.
Or your phone?
He used my phone.
Oh, you use your phone? Man, this is great. It's amazing that you got 43 fights though. I'm gonna tell you. Let me be honest with you. That's a lot.
He got more fights than
He got more fights than most fighters.
He got more fights than Mike Tyson. Tyson only had 17 amateur fights.
Yeah, man, you doing good, man. You man, listen, you stay with Kris, man. Listen to everything he's saying. Y'all do y'all's homework.
He got 4 belts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all do y'all homework and listen to Kris, man. He's gonna lead y'all to the promised land, and that's real talk. Anything y'all want to say? Any shout outs?
Nah, I'm good.
He's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now, you guys go watch Dave